The first statement, as I alluded to earlier, Alex, when we're talking about the Eagles, a little bit of quarterback controversy. Here's the first statement: Jalen Hurts will be starting in place of Carson Wentz this season. Buy it or sell it.
I mean, I know the people that are listening to this on the podcast version could not see how much angst just went over my head
It
there,
was a
but
lot.
it was a lot. I mean, here's the thing. I buy it if this is a bad, I mean, okay, this is a bad team. I buy it, or I buy this statement if they're not competing for a division title. I think the fact that they're still in first place in the NFC East, you have to stick with the real quarterback, as they say. It's just not enough time to implement a new system, especially when you can, theoretically have a shot at making the playoffs. And who knows when you get in there? You get a home game. You obviously play the best wild card team in the NFC, who's going to be a really really good team. It could be the Seahawks. It could be the Cardinals. It could be, I mean, it could be one of those NFC South teams that doesn't make it, the Bucks or the Saints. So it's not looking good for the playoffs this year as far as success when you get there. But I feel like if you're in the hunt and you're in a division lead, you got to go with your guy.
Mm-hmm.
And this just is not the year to try out Jalen Hurts. Give him an offseason. Let Carson Wentz get thrown out of Philly, not just kind of let out like he's
Knowing those Philly
an old.
fans, he will literally be thrown out
He'll
of
get
Philadelphia.
he'll get thrown out. But I'm saying let's save the Jalen card until things get really really bad. And I think if you're sitting at the top of the division, doesn't matter how bad it is,
Mm-hmm.
you can't throw this big experiment Jalen Hurts into the mix right now because it's just not the right time.
And
So
that's
I'm gonna have to
why.
sell it, but I really want to buy it.
And you say that, I say they're going to be competing, and since they're going to be competing, Carson Wentz is going to be sucking later on this season. Like he's already been just he's not the guy, he's not the future. And I mean, it was crazy is when they're first drafted, we saw Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, 1 and 2. We saw two really big names. It's kind of a toss up who's going to be taken first. And they had a great first year, at least Carson Wentz said. We are talking almost MVP conversation for Carson Wentz until he went down with that injury. We had Jared Goff, who was looking like the worst of the two, looking like the Rams really just kind of made a bad move. And now what we see is that Jared Goff, I would say, is definitely the better quarterback. Carson Wentz definitely is the worst quarterback of the two. I don't like Carson Wentz, and what's going to happen? They're going to be really really close for a divisional win, for a divisional crown. And Carson Wentz is going to be sucking in the game. And so what we're going to see them pull the trigger on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is going to be another savior in Philadelphia in terms of quarterbacks, and he's going to lead them to that divisional title.
Also, just kind of a side note, if you're any NFC East team right now, there is no motivation for you to try to go out there and win the division because you're not going to get a bunch of ticket sales from fans
Nope.
because you don't have a play. I mean, a playoff game at home means nothing this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're going to create this huge energy in the fan base because the two teams that are, I mean, all those, unless it's the Washington football team making a miraculous jump to the division lead, that's the only time I
And
can
we see
see
Alex
this.
Smith winning a touchdown in his first year
Yeah, but
back,
it's
or
like
Super
the
Bowl in his first year back.
you could have the same record, but just because you're the division winner, you have a 12 worst picks in the draft. So it just there's no motivation to win the division this year. They should be competing to not win the division, but that's not going to happen because everyone sees a playoff spot and they're like, oh, we got to go get it. Let's sacrifice everything to go get it. And
Let's
I think
sacrifice everything to
that's
get blown out in the first week of the playoffs.
and to
Exactly.
have 12 less draft picks doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. But